The Dales can be enjoyed at any time of year. They're perhaps even lovelier in early spring or late autumn, when the days are crisp and cold and views are clear. Or even in winter, when snow and frost can turn the landscape into something magical. Every season has its special qualities, even wild, stormy days when there are fewer people around and the elemental forces of nature are evident in all their ferocious splendor. Or in the quiet of an early summer evening, when most visitors and their cars have gone home and a gentle peace descends. So let's take a journey through this very special landscape. Whether driving to the Dales or arriving by train and using the Dales bus network, within a few minutes of leaving the busy West Yorkshire conurbation along Wharfdale, one of the first places in the national park where many people arrive is at Bolton Abbey. It's only a short step from the village car park or bus stop, through the famous hole in the wall, to enjoy a magnificent view of the ruins of the 13th century Augustinian Priory with its imposing church. It's still the parish church for this part of the Dales, never having fallen out of use, and the church and its ruins are in a magnificent setting on a great bend of the river which sheltered the priory and its inhabitants from rain and storm. Though the priory ceased to exist after King Henry VIII's dissolution of the monasteries in 1539, the influence of the Augustinian monks and their neighbours, the Cistercians of Fountains Abbey, was profound in the Dales. The monks developed the breeding and rearing of sheep and the export of wool on a large scale, and upland sheep rearing is still the mainstay of the hill farming economy. Many outlying farms in the Yorkshire Dales were originally established as monastic granges and have been in constant use and occupation since medieval times. After the dissolution, Bolton Priory and the vast estates it owned were acquired by several notable families hereabouts, eventually passing by marriage to the Dukes of Devonshire. The estate is now owned and managed by the trustees of Chatsworth Estate on behalf of the Duke of Devonshire and his family. For generations, visitors have been welcomed onto the estate, including romantic poets and painters such as Wordsworth, Turner and Ruskin. Picturesque walks were laid out at the beginning of the 19th century, including this route through Strid Woods, now an important nature reserve. The estate offers fine walks of varying degrees of difficulty, from gentle routes for those with disabilities to strenuous moorland hikes across the access areas. The main path by the river is part of the Dales Way, an 83-mile-long trek from Ilkley to the Lake District through the heart of the Yorkshire Dales. A highlight of this part of the Dales Way is the Strid, a fearsome gorge where the full force of the river wharf powers through a narrow rocky chasm. Although barely a couple of meters wide at its narrowest point, the gap is deceptive, and many people have drowned attempting to leap across. To slip here is to risk almost certain death by becoming trapped under the rocks. The most famous drowning was in the 12th century when the Boy of Egremont, son of the noble de Romilly family of Skipton Castle, plunged to his death when his greyhound, on a leash, hesitated. It's been said that the land at Bolton Priory was given to the Augustinians by the de Romilly's family in memory of that youth. There are several waymarked paths through the woods, but the Dales Way continues up Wharfdale past Barden Tower, a ruined medieval hunting lodge forever linked with the memory of the shepherd lord, Henry Clifford. According to local legend, he was brought up in hiding in a shepherd's family during the Wars of the Roses, only claiming his rightful inheritance after the Battle of Bosworth. Ironsall, with its old stone bridge over the wharf, enjoys one of the most beautiful settings of any village in England, within a great bowl of the hills and curving river. This little Anglo-Viking settlement has a charming riverside village green, and there's some rare Viking hogback gravestones in the church. Grassington, a former market town, is the capital of Upper Wharfdale, with its excellent choice of cafes, inns, local shops and accommodation. Looking at its cobbled marketplace and rows of traditional shops and tiny cottages, many dating from the 17th and 18th centuries, it's difficult to imagine that this was once a small industrial town, a mining village producing not coal but lead. The tiny 2-up and 2-down cottages to be found in the narrow courtyards, or folds, around the main square, once housed lead miners and their families in cramped conditions. These same cottages are now much sought after retirement homes or weekend cottages.